Hi guys, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to talk to you about a few things that I'm hoping to see in the Heart of Thorns expansion that have got quite a lot of mystery surrounding them from the previous game, Guild Wars 1. The first thing I'm hoping to see, and people have speculated we saw in the raid trailer at PAX Prime, is the Bloodstone located in the Maguma jungle. Now the description of what a Bloodstone is varies depending on where you get your information from. According to what we learnt in Guild Wars 1, the Bloodstone was a massive stone created by the human gods of Tyria and sealed with the blood of King Doric. The stone was then sundered into 5 shards, of which 4 of the shards represented the 4 schools of magic: aggression, destruction, preservation and denial, and the final 5th piece was the keystone. This would be required if the stones ever needed to be reassembled for some reason. However, according to what we learn in Guild Wars 2, the Bloodstone was originally created by the Seers, an enigmatic magical race of beings that were around during the last rise of the Elder Dragons. They forged the stone to contain all magic that had not yet been corrupted by the Elder Dragons. Many years later, when the human gods arrived on Tyria and established Ara, they gathered the Bloodstones as well as other magical artifacts and stored them within the city. In the year 1 BE, Abaddon used the Bloodstone to gift magic to all of the races in Tyria, which led to a lot of wars breaking out across Tyria, as well as a huge clash between the gods themselves. This is where the lore from both games starts to line up again, with the gods sealing the Bloodstone with Doric's blood and shattering it. In both stories, the shattered Bloodstones were then put into the biggest volcano on the island chain known as the Ring of Fire. At some point, this volcano erupted and hurled the Bloodstones across Tyria. We know where 3 of them landed. One of them fell back inside the caldera of the volcano, the second landed in the Shiver Peaks, and most importantly, the third one landed in the Maguma jungle. All 3 of these stones had rather important roles to play in the first game. I'll not cover the details of what happened in the first game in this video, otherwise it'll end up being all about the Bloodstones and that game. If you would like to know more about them, then please let me know and I can make a more detailed video. What I'd love to see in the expansion is more information about the Bloodstones, as they could prove to be very useful in the fight against the Elder Dragons. And to be honest, I would just like to finally, after all these years, be able to know a little bit more about these mysterious stones and the potential power that they hold. The second thing I'm hoping to see is the hidden temple of Balthazar. This was located in the Falls explorable area within the Maguma jungle in the first game. I've always loved this temple ever since I found it when running around exploring, mostly because we know so very little about it. Obviously it's a temple to the human god Balthazar, but who built it or used it given that it's in such a remote location? We know there are lands to the west of the jungle from trade routes we can see on maps that have been released. We know that the Shining Blade had bases located within the jungle, and we know that Druids resided in the jungle as well. However, surely the Shining Blade didn't have time to construct a temple, and it is partially overgrown in the first game anyway. The lands to the west probably have their own temples, or may not even follow the pantheon we know of, which leaves the Druids, who, given that they are all about nature, would surely build a temple to Melandria. I'd love to see some more information on who built this, or even to just be able to go there again and see it overgrown and now covered in Mordrim. It'll be little things like this that make the expansion that much better for me. Speaking of the Druids, the final thing for this video I would like to see more about is these guys. And again we have differing lore from both games. Guild Wars 1 is very limited and contradictory. We get told that they were humans from Kryta, and they went to the jungle to live with nature. Rumour has it they were devout followers of Melandria, but we are then told, thanks to the history of Tyria, that they were forced out of the jungles by other humans, and that they mysteriously vanished decades before 1072 AE. The final thing we learn is that they were thought to have been killed, but in fact shed their physical bodies to become one with nature, existing as spirits in Guild Wars 1. The contradiction we have here is that the history of Tyria states the humans that chased the Druids from the jungle did so before the Forgotten had left for the Crystal Desert in 174 AE. This is important because Kryta was not established until 300 AE. However, with Guild Wars 2, we learn some more information that could lead us to an interesting conclusion. Firstly, we get clarification that their origin is unknown, This falls in line with what we learn in the history of Tyria, where it states the humans chased the Druids out of the jungle before the Forgotten had left for the Crystal Desert and before Kryta had been established. We also get told that they remained far from human civilization in the jungle, and when they vanished they went south, though a few stayed behind and fell into slumber. We also see some inquest in the Toxel Bog attempting to experiment on the petrified husks of ancient Druids that stayed behind. What is interesting about this is that these husks are seeming to pulse with some sort of mystic energy. So, in conclusion, we know very little about the mysterious Druids. However, what we can surmise is that they lived in the Maguma jungle and made it their home. They appear in various husk forms or as spirits, but when they vanished they went south, but some stayed behind, and those that did fell into slumber. They now appear dead, but still pulse with some sort of energy the Inquest is keen on getting. Now, my wild theory about this is, what if these beings are, or were, in some way related to the elder dragon Mordramoth? Maybe they were humans originally, and somehow got corrupted by the centuries of living with Mordramoth's taint seeping out into the jungle. Maybe not quite corrupting them for evil, but maybe more evolving them, allowing them to become one with nature. Add to that what we know about the Inquest and their tendency they have to gravitate towards dragon energy and magics, I think it lends some more weight to my theory. You have to wonder if the husks are pulsing with some sort of latent energy left from Mordramoth, and now he has risen, we could see them spring to life under his control. It would be quite nice to see this happen in game, these petrified husks that currently exist suddenly bursting into life and starting to cause chaos. It would be a nice way to add some new content to the old zones with this expansion. Anyway, I shall end the video on that. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and until next time, take care and happy gaming.